scripts. I'm looking for some CGI artists to help me create some cool scenes and stuff for YouTube. 3ds Max, Maya, it doesn't matter. I'm starting to get a handle on PF Track 2011, and I can actually use After Effects to probably just under a pro level, I think now. What I want to do is just create some stuff that maybe will get noticed, maybe do a couple commercials, perhaps make a few grand or something each. We can work in your own basements like I do. It doesn't have to be anything serious. I know a lot of people went to school and aren't using, I guess, the skills they learned. I went to school, but I failed out of AutoCAD, but as only lately the last few years I've been getting back into 3ds Max, which is made by Autodesk, same thing. If you're interested in anything, doing anything, working on a project with me, just drop me a message in my YouTube and we'll get in contact. You can be from anywhere in the world. Think about it, and if you can actually do a little bit of CGI, want to have a little bit of fun, create some funny scenes, blow some shit up, alien invasion, anything you can think of, your imagination runs wild. This is how I made this video I'm going to show you here now. It took me about 2 days to do, and it's only 14 seconds. Again, if you're interested, drop me a message. Perhaps I'll pick up a sponsor, maybe do a few commercials, who knows. So here's how I made this footage. I'm just working on a little something for the likes and dislikes show. I'm going to be using 3ds Max and a mesh that I downloaded off the internet of the old Enterprise. I'm going to put her in the sky. So right now I just took some footage and I'm stabilizing it with After Effects. Now it's going to do its stabilization. And then what I have to do is take it into another program. I export this in a PNG sequence. Oh, made it widescreen, cool. But I need to take this into another sequence of JPEG. So what that did was stabilize my motion. Let me, okay, it's on half. Let's just play it. You look at the camera's a lot smoother. It's a neat little trick. There's some options over to the side. You can crop and auto scale. I might actually turn the auto scale off. Crop, stabilize, crop only. I'll zoom in so you can see it. So if you can see how this footage here is bouncing around now, this is what I'm trying to fix up here now. And I guess I have to click analyze again. So this is going to take a minute, and what she's going to do is crop the motion of the video for me. And I'll also show you the Enterprise I'm working on. Now, like I said, I didn't do this. I'm not that skilled, but some really nice people actually uploaded this to a site. I'll show you. And the nice guy that did it is Bucky, whoever the fuck he is. Good job, by the way, whoever the fuck you are. Let's go back to 3ds Max. Scan out there, you can see, and I put in some lighting, and whoa, this is really hypersensitive. Why does it do that? I wonder. But anywho, upload's not full screen. Can't zoom in tall. Oh, there it is. I don't know why it does that. Anybody want to tell me why? When I click zoom in once, it like goes, or I can't see it. But anyway, let's just render this, just to give you an idea of how this is going to render. It's going to pop over in this window, and I'm going to do it in motion. I'm going to add a camera. Like I said, I'm going to need to get the tracking points. I'm going to use PF Track, which was new, just released in March. I had a lot of issues with it, but I went through a few tutorials, and I think I got her down. This is going to be a fairly simple scene anyway. And she's doing a render there. So once you get the light and all that set up right, it'll do a little camera and she'll move across the sky. Alright, so after I get all that done, I have to render out the PNG sequence, which is what I'm doing here now. It is only 14 seconds, And because of the cropped edges, I changed the resolution to a 1.78, so it's like an anamorphic shot now. Once the PNG sequence is finished, I'm going to open up PF Track here now. Alright. PF Track 2011. Ignore that. Alright, create. We're going to call this Star Trek. And frame rate is going to be 29.7. Camera preset auto, deinterlace none. It's shot in P. Confirm. Yeah, we got about 15 million hard drives on here. What is E? I don't want no space on E. F. Alright, here we go. Enterprise. Just save it there. Alright. Enterprise, Star Trek, not what I wanted. Where the fuck did I create that to then? Now, Star Trek. There we go, and there's our footage. Drag it over here, switch back here. This is our footage. Press spacebar to play. So, now I have to track this. Alright, I just tracked the scene, and here's what it looks like. I have to get rid of some of the tracking markers. You can see them. Some bad ones there. So once you auto track it and you remove the points, I darken the image. I'll show you what it looks like. Everything, all the lines should look smooth. If they don't look smooth, you're gonna have trouble. Let me just freely drag this across. They all should look nice. Any weird ones that stand out, delete them. That's it. So now we need to click on create a camera solver. Boom. This is our camera solver. This is going to take a few minutes. Once you do the camera solver, you're going to have something weird, but what you're looking for is to keep the floor at a certain point. It needs to stay fixed in the scene. So let's have a look at it. That's the floor I'm talking about. Let's move this across. You'll see it moves with it. As it turns with it. That's really going to help you keep the scene in perspective when you put your ship in there. I don't like that little dip there. I always get these weird problems. I don't know why. I'm still gonna go with it. So yeah, let's continue on and put a... Alright, I've been sitting for a few hours now. I got it somewhat good enough that I'm actually gonna go through and render it. And if I got some shaking or something a little bit weird, what the hell, right? This is just for a bit of fun. But here's a test that I just threw in a 3D object into my environment. Now you gotta use a bit of imagination to get it, but you'll understand. It's just a test just showing that the camera solve was right for PF Track. Camera solve creates something for 3ds Max that I can put 3D objects into a scene. But anyway, here's how it looks. I used a giant mushroom. So let's try to get this imported in 3ds Max at the right scale. So I'm about to render here now. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Alright, I'm just going through the setup production. I'm going to be rendering a PNG with the alpha channels. Desktop Enterprise, nope. We're going to render Spinner, Enterprise, new folder. 3ds Max Trek. We'll call that one. Go inside for the drop down. We're going to pick PNG Connie Trek. So that's what we're going to do. PNG done. RGB 24 or 16.7 million. Blah blah blah. And we're going to begin. I'll just show you this one render. This is how long it takes to do one. Remember, I'm using my motion tracking camera, scale 1:1 I figured out. This is one frame of 14 seconds at 30 frames per second. So you're looking at 14 times 30. That's how many of these frames I have to render. What I'll just do is zoom in. All that black is going to be alpha channel. This is one frame, remember. I'm actually going to let you see the whole thing. 435 frames it has to do. On to the next. So this is going to take a little while. Probably the better half of the night. So it's a little bit late at night and the render is finally finished. So now I'm using some green screen, blue screen things here. I'm going to show you now. And I'm putting the two scenes together. Alright, just to show you my matte, I'm going to change the final result here to screen matte. That's my screen matte. These dark lines are what it's letting it through. And I'm actually chroma keying the blue here, which will let the wires go through. Screen matte, color corrected edges, inside mask. But anyway, this is the final result. You can actually see the wires, they're coming through now. Next, I got to do wow, looks like there's a frame there that's bad. I'm gonna have to fix. So yeah, this is the composition stage. It's got a little bit of work to do. Just to give you an idea how tedious this is, I'm gonna show you. Man, make sure to shoot in clear sky is all I got to say. But here's how much masking I have to do. The yellow is the mask. Let's advance to the next frame. And this is just these three lines. I need to go back in and redo all this again for the other lines. Why am I doing this? Because they need to be in the foreground to make it look like the ship is in the background. So you have to do this. And you move on to the next one. Frame by frame. That's how you do it. Alright, it's 6 o'clock. And just gonna quickly show it. This is ROM 2 right now. Nice optical flares. High contrast on the ship as she goes by the sun. She gets off in the distance, she gets a bit foggy. Now, just to show you how many fucking masks, and I'm only halfway done. Absolutely, this is just one track full of masks. Let's turn on masks. You can see them. That's one lot of masks. Second lot of masks is here when it comes into play. The tree mask, which was the hardest, is here. Just to give you an example, boom. And the optical flares layer. So I'm going to bed. I'll finish the rest of masks tomorrow. Alright, so I'm still working on masking, and it's now the next day at 6 p.m. I only just got up a little while ago. But just to give you an idea of how much work this is. Next frame, or there. And I gotta do this for every single power line, and if it branches off, I have to make a separate mask. I'll fix the color and stuff later. This is hardcore masking. And I have some tunes on. You can see this is what I mean by branching off right there. It broke off and I had to do another one. And this wire was warped, so I had to put more points in. So I'm gonna continue working on this for the next couple hours. Alright, so I'm just about to render out the scene now. I'll give you a preview of how it looks. All the wires are done. Let me zoom in. I put that little flare there to take away from looking at the trees, because it was really hard to do the trees. And what I intended for it to be was a reflection from this bright sun, which is Optical Flares by Video Co-Pilots. She flies along. All the wires. I had to do this wire a bit different because it was green. So let me just show you how many masks I got. Alright. This is that. That's all that is. It just flies by. Woo! Done. As you see, it gets darker there. I did that for when it gets by the sun. The contrast and stuff goes down. You watch it. See the numbers moving there. That just gives it more realism as it goes by the sun. So that's just a ship. Compass that on the original layer without the wires being masked. And it's flying over top of everything. We could say it's not under wires, but then it'd be a little ship. Not what the ideal one I wanted to do. After that, I composited this layer, which is the wires. I don't know if you can see them there. I'll go right in. Just little masks I got done. Let me turn on the mask screen. Click the layer. They vanish. Compass those wires with double layer on top of it. That's those wires there. Just mask them out. Throw the ship on top of that. And the wires come through. And just to come down here to have a look, there are 7 masks on this one layer. The next layer has 9. This layer has 10 to 17. I don't know, matter 5 or 6 or something. Matter boatload. These are all just wire masks too, and it took me fucking hours and hours and hours. And that's the last 2 masks of the scene. Now, some of the effects I'm using. As she goes along, you got that glare. That glare is actually on layer 2 is optical flares. Open it up. I made this one myself. God, I love this camera. Let me move that around just to get an idea what it looks like. Are you sure you want to cancel without saving? Yes, I want to cancel. So you move along, and you got another optical flares right here. I have them tracking to the sun. And I have a layer mask so that when the ship flies in front of it, it goes out like that. And it comes back in when she's out of it. And this is where the ship goes dark. And I thought about doing a shadow, but I don't know if we'd actually get a shadow over 2. So that's done. And the final layer, the final thing I did was glow. Turned off, look what happens. Just a light glow. It just blends everything together a bit better. Some of the other things I did on the ship was I lower contrasted it. -30, got it fit with my scene better. So that's that, and that's After Effects, and I'm gonna render this out now, and I'm gonna upload it for you guys. The last stage in actually doing a video like this is putting in the sound effects. Now I got my regular 20th Century Fox DTR I made. You're gonna see that here now. Some of you have already seen it who've been watching my videos. The next thing, I got a low end rumble. And on that low end rumble, I got a balance from left to right. You can see my key points here as she flies by. You might be able to pick this up on my camera. It's stereo, so let's just apply it. It gets louder too. The other keyframes up there is for the loudness as she flies by. That's important. One of the last things I want to do is I want to add the real track in behind it. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to drag it into Video 2, lock it there, but I'm going to hide the actual video. Oh, wrong one. There. Now if I apply it, you'll hear what I heard when I was actually recording the scene. So that's done, and I guess the very last thing is just to end it all. So yeah, that's the sound effects. You have to do the sound effects or it loses authenticity, we'll say. Sound effects is just as important as the video, and I'm also a sound engineer, so